have the principle of proportion, okay? This one is extremely important in the final assignment that we'll be doing, which is figurative art and drawing a superhero, okay? Because proportion is extremely important whenever you're drawing a human figure or even a cartoon figure. Because what happens when we're drawing a figure? We need to consider a head, we need to consider shoulders, arms, a torso, legs, hands, feet. And while you're drawing a person, whether they're cartoon or realistic, you're always thinking, did I draw that head too big? Did I draw their eyes too small? Did I draw their ears in the right spot? Did I draw their feet too tiny? Did I draw their hands too big or too low? Okay, your brain is always thinking, did that correct? Does it look right? Okay, and basically what you're doing is mentally you're taking note of proportion. You're comparing something that you're about to draw to what is already on the page, okay? So if I were to draw kind of a stick person here, right? And I started off with a head. Before I draw the torso, I might consider the size of my head. How big should the torso be in comparison to the size of the head, okay? If I were to draw a stick person like this, like that would be completely out of proportion. They would look like their head is about to inflate and fly away, right? So how do I draw a proportionate stick person? I might think, okay, I need a neck to kind of match the size of the head. I need shoulders that are kind of proportionate to the size of the head. Then I need a body that kind of makes sense in terms of the size of this head here, okay? When we talk about figures later in the course, you'll know, I'll tell you guys, a torso traditionally, a realistic torso, should fit about 3 heads into it. So I could kind of imagine two to 3 heads in the stick person's torso right now, meaning it's kind of long enough, okay? And then legs. And arms. Okay, this stick person looks a bit more proportionate than this one here. It just makes sense. Okay, if this person were about to shoot a basketball, okay, would the ball look like this if it was intended to be a basketball? No, because now it looks like they're dribbling a beach ball, right? It's not proportionate to the person as a basketball. So I might think, what size does this ball need to be in order to make sense in relation to the size of the person for the viewer to think that it's a basketball, right? It might be like this size, right? So now we have a ball or an object or an accessory that's proportionate to the person. Before we were talking about body parts and proportions to each other. Now we're talking about something that the person is holding. Or like an umbrella, if he was holding an umbrella outside in the rain, okay? Would it make sense if he was holding like a tiny cocktail umbrella? No, it wouldn't, right? Because that wouldn't be doing much for him and we wouldn't actually understand that that is an umbrella. But if we drew an umbrella, that, you know, looked like it could cover the person, it would make more sense as an umbrella proportionately. So you're thinking about the scale or the size of things that you're adding to your picture and do they make sense in relation to what's already part of the picture. If you're drawing a face too, okay, so when we're drawing faces, proportion is really important when we're drawing figures and faces because we want to make sure that things on the face don't look disproportionate, okay? So again, I do teach a lesson on drawing faces. I know some of you guys might not be able to draw a face right now, but the rule of thumb when you're drawing a person's eyes, for instance, is that you could technically fit almost 5 eyes across their face. Okay, not many of you, I have a lot of students that go home and they stare in the mirror and they're like, yep. Oh, I can actually fit an eye in between my eyes. So the trick to drawing eyes proportionately is you kind of pencil them in a way where you can imagine another one of these fitting in the middle. Okay, so if you can't fit one of these eyes in the middle of the eyes, that means you've drawn your eyes too big and you need to go back and revise. Okay, so a natural eye should be fit on the face so that you can imagine another one fitting here and maybe half an eye to a full eye on both sides of the face. Okay? And then so on with the lips. We talk about how lips usually go from the beginning of one eye to the other. So lips would fit in this area here naturally. Whereas sometimes we think of faces as this, right? And that's a disproportionate face. The scale of things on this face is really weird and odd, as opposed to when we start to measure things using proportion, they start to look a bit more natural. Okay? So basically what I want you to do here, draw something that is unproportionate and be like, no, this is not good. Okay? And then draw something that is proportionate and show me that you understand what it means to scale something correctly with different parts and have something scaled incorrectly because a part of it is too big or too small in relation to the rest of the picture. Okay? You can come up with whatever you want as your example of proportion, so long as this reminds you what the definition is about.